Okay, good night, students. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thanks, Sheldon. All right, we'll start in 4 minutes time. Group 1, I'm seeing some of you here. I see Sheldon. I see Mikhail. Did I pronounce that correctly? Is it Mikhail, Ali? Let me know. I see Hannah, Chanel. Go ahead.
I'm just saying yes, miss, I'm here.
Okay, how do you pronounce your name? Mikhail, Mikhail, how do you pronounce it? I see. Okay, all right, so that's just about it for group 1. All right, I'm not hearing you, Mikhail, or probably just call you Ali if because persons don't like when their names are pronounced incorrectly. So I'll just call you Ali. That I know is correct. Okay, let me give you privileges. I think the recording has started. I probably can pause it. Okay, good night again, students. Did you hear something going off that the recording is happening?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. We can start now. All right, group 1. Is there any head moderator, head presenter?
Happy presenting.
Yes,
Okay, so that will be Sheldon. All right, so I've given you all the persons in group 1. I've given you presenter, moderator's privilege. So you can now go ahead and start. You can share your screen and do whatever you need to do. All right, so you can take it over now, group 1.
Okay, very pleasant evening. Just waiting for the uploading of the screen, please. Wonderful. So very, very wonderful evening to everyone, and welcome to our Unit 1 tutorial, ladies and gentlemen. So let us begin. Hopefully we begin with a lovely icebreaker. Well, of course, we see our group members, and there are about 7 to 8 of us. Okay, so of course, a little icebreaker, just gonna ask you some questions, and of course, you indicate in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. So, firstly, use plastic bags or paper bags? Which one are you gonna use on our sustainable development? 1. Let's see if we can get some more. We can get some more quickly. Quick. All right, paper bags. Anybody for plastics? Let's see, paper bags. Okay, next one. Give up your car or give up meat? Which one are you gonna do? Give up your car or give up meat? You're gonna give up your car? Who else? Car? Anybody else? See 2 cars and 3 cars. Okay, people, 4 cars. All right. Whoa, 1 for meat. Okay. 2 for meat. Anybody else? Oh boy, people are giving up meat and cars like crazy. Okay. Very quickly. Okay, so join a climate march or give a presentation. What are you gonna do? You're gonna match. Okay, we're gonna match, and the price is right. Okay. Anybody else who's gonna give a presentation? Amanda for presentation, match. Match. It looks like March wins. Okay, let's go. Explore space or explore the oceans. What are you gonna do? Oops, you gotta space. Oh, you can't say none, Joanna. You gotta choose one. Come on now. Oceans, oceans, space. So 2 for oceans, 1 for space, 3 for oceans. Oh my, looks like ocean is leading. Okay, the next one, ocean. Oh my, finger and chips. Okay, so take the train or share your car with others. Train. Oh boy, train takes the win. Big chunk for the train. All right. Plant a forest or we grow a coral reef. What are you gonna do? Forest, both? Are you gonna choose one, Lindy? Plant forest, plant and plant, take the lead. And one more. Take one long distance flight or have a cold showers for a year. You love your cold showers? You're gonna take a long distance flight. Let's see who's gonna lead. Flight, cold showers. Flight, cold showers. In. Okay, they're tied. Flight takes the lead. Flight takes another lead. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, flight the winner. Okay, we go on then. Thank you for participating in our icebreaker. Hope you loved it. All right, next slide, please. Okay, great. So basically, this is the summary of the introduction to sustainable development. And there's the definition, the Brundtland Commission in 1987 basically defines sustainable development as the quote, in quote, that the development that fulfills the requirements of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to satisfy their own needs. So let's explore, so then the summary of sustainable development will look at the 3 major concepts. 1, biodiversity, ecology, and resilience.
Yes,
miss? Yes, miss?
Pause a second there. So explain to us, what does it really mean by development that fulfills the requirement? You can give us an example. What does it mean by development that fulfills the requirements of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to satisfy their own needs? Just explain that to us.
Sure. So basically, you're developing looking at the context of the environment in mind without compromising the environment, basically what it is. So you want to make sure that the development, it doesn't compromise the environment and it takes into consideration the future generation. 2 ways of putting it.
Okay, very good. So one could look at the ozone layer. In China, you know, they have a lot of factories, and these factories are causing the ozone layer to deplete. So this is one good example. We can say the sustainable development has to do with, we have to put out, China is one poor example, we can say, of sustainable development for future generations, because they are depleting the ozone layer so much that we don't even know that side of China, what it's going to look like for the future, for generations coming behind them. So with all the smoke from the factories and the emissions that it gives off, it's destroying the ozone layer. That's why we have climate change that is so bad. So that is what Brundtland was actually trying to bring home to us. All right, continue, Sheldon. You're doing well.
Thank you very much, Miss. Okay, so next we have outlined what already the concepts we're going to be looking at. So let's go on to, please, next slide. Wonderful. So basically, when it comes to sustainable development, there was an evolution. It did not simply happen haphazardly, but there's an evolution of events. So like 50 years ago, according to NERS, there was a conference with regards to human environment in Stockholm, 50 years ago, 1972. And they've said that the environment has to be protected immediately. So as a result of that, several people and organizations, they created policies and strategies for environmental protection. So what were the objectives of the Brundtland Commission? 1, to re-examine significant global environmental and development issues and create workable situations. Secondly, to improve global collaboration on development and environmental challenges. So that means there must be some kind of a network and partnership. And of course, they have to re-examine the environmental context in order to create workable situations. Next slide, please. We continue. So the three pillars of sustainability. One, so we have our circle here where they intersect with each other. So social sustainability, economic sustainability, and environmental sustainability. So social has to do the social organization and alleviate poverty. Secondly, you want an economic model that does similar, right, without compromising the future. And thirdly, environmental refers to the responsibility of conserving natural resources and protecting global ecosystems to support health and well-being in the present and future. So you want to utilize, you only want to conserve, but you want to utilize them in a very responsible way to support holistic health and development. Next slide, please.
Okay, before you move on to the next slide, Sheldon,
Yes,
go back to the previous slide.
Yes, miss.
All right. Okay. So earlier you heard me explaining environmental sustainability. So you or one of your group members can explain what does it really mean to what economic sustainability means and social sustainability, or give us some examples of that. I gave you an example of the environmental, where China is destroying, well, not just China, but they are the major contributors to the environmental depletion. So we are trying to work with them in environmental sustainability. So give us an example of economic sustainability and social sustainability. You or any of your group members.
Let's go. Feel free, team members. Hello. I can be good, right? They're here now. Sure. Hello.
You're trying to reach.
No, I'm saying I'm hoping that they heard the question. I mean, or they're thinking of thinking through. Because I'm saying that I'm allowing them an opportunity to respond to what you requested.
Okay, all right, okay.
Okay, hi, good night. So for the social sustainability, some examples of that is to make food more accessible, improve the access to education and employment, and also to help by pay for fees for supplies and things that the general population will need. So like I don't know if you'd want to call it like a subsidy for certain things. So like in the United States, how they'll have like the food stamps and stuff as part of their social services. That's one aspect. I don't know if somebody else wants to give an example for the economic sustainability.
Anybody else?
You guys have it here in a chart, you know. I forgot what they call this kind of chart again. Forgot
It's kind of a pie. It's a kind of a intersecting pie chart. Yes.
Here can pull from. So just go ahead and take another 2 minutes and just explain to us. Give us examples.
Anybody? It means I should go ahead, or let me see. I want some. Oh, someone is listening.
Okay, so for another example of economic sustainability, it could be like recycling and doing like, well, okay, recently I saw this um documentary the on clothing waste. So when clothes in the fast fashion industry, when the clothes is not sold, they ship it to an African country and then it end up in landfills. So out of that, there has come this store where they let you rent clothes instead of purchasing them to just throw them after, because the how fast fashion industry works is that you buy something, wear it once and you discard it. So that could be an example of economic sustainability with recycling and controlling levels of consumerism and consumption.
Okay, that could take in social as well. In America here, we have Goodwill stores where persons will, instead of throwing away clothes, and when I say clothes, I mean some good clothes, because children have outgrown them or persons die, so they get rid of them. Instead of throwing them out, they will take them to the Goodwill store, where the Goodwill will put some cheap price tags on them, and persons get to buy them and reuse them. So yes, so that's a good example. Anything else? Yeah, so that has, when we talk about sustainability now, recycling is a major aspect of that. All right. And
Let me
Um,
stop. Go ahead.
Also, like I saw these I don't know if where they start making materials out of like hemp and bamboo and stuff to just help protect the environment, is when it disintegrates, it will go back to the earth.
very good.
So,
Mhm.
and I saw this other thing. I don't know if this is real or if it started making a way where they would turn like a loved one into a pod that could grow a tree or something like that.
A potted, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, it's actually something. So where the it's just like to help the environment and also help your loved one that has transitioned on to live on and do something for the environment. That was the concept behind it.
Oh, okay. All right. And one thing I can bring, there's a good example of recent where I am in New Jersey. They have now banned the plastic bags, because when the plastic bags go to the landfill, they don't, I forgot the word, what they call it. They don't, certain things like paper bag, when if it is thrown out on the soil and so it depletes easily. There's a word.
Biodegradable?
Integrate.
Very good, very good. What you call it, biodegradable, you said?
Yes.
Yes. So plastic bags aren't like that. So what our congressman has done is to ban plastic bags. So when we go to the supermarket, we have to take reusable bags. And they provide us with the reusable bags, but it's becoming a problem now. They're hoping to look at this as economic sustainability, so for the future, but it's causing a problem now for the present, because one picture was taken of this woman with her whole room filled with reusable bags, because because we come from an age where we used to get in plastic bags. When we go out to supermarket, we're not remembering, and some of us are not disciplined to, well, let's keep it in our cars, and when we go to the supermarket, we just take it out. We keep buying over bags, buying out these reusable bags. So the woman living room full of these reusable bags, right? So, but they're gonna have to find ways of controlling this as well, because if every time people feel as if when they go to the supermarket, they keep buying these reusable bags, it's defeating the whole purpose. All right, very good. You guys can continue now.
Okay, so basically you have many people around the world, especially young people, they have seen improvements in their economic and social conditions as a result of economic expansion and technological advancement, right? Additionally, there has been improved literacy and skills development and basic education levels among young people. So we have, and then of course, promoting the values of peace and solidarity and tolerance amongst young people while preserving cultural heritage and modern social trends. So what we are seeing is that what it's basically, in summary, you have the economic development and social conditions of our young people, expansion, of course, and technological advancement. In addition to that, you have had a holistic improvement in education and social cohesion. Next, please. So because we haven't had this connection, we're looking at social media revolution, etc., connection through technology, then people are making contributions to the resilience of their communities by coming up with very innovative solutions, and they're fostering social progress and inspiring social change. And of course, if their investment in the resources and opportunities, then what will happen is people will reach the young people will reach their full potential. For example, we saw what happened with Greta Thunberg in Europe and how she sparked that movement. Next, please. Okay, so generally, because of the situation, young people have taken that ownership in their involvement in global politics, where you have seen a serious social transformation among the younger generations in the last 10 years. And what it is that the youth-led organizations, they need to be encouraged and given the tools, of course, as youth workers, they need to convert the 2030 agenda into local, national, and regional policy. So the World Commission on Environment and Development provided, so in 1987, of course, that definition of sustainable development was provided, and I quote, development that fulfills the requirements of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to satisfy their own needs, which we defined early on from the beginning. Next, please. And I'll now call on to my colleague, I believe, to discuss the Trinidad and Tobago. So in the context of Trinidad and Tobago, the Sustainable Development Initiatives.
Okay, thank you, Sheldon.
Most welcome.
Right, so this is the initiatives that will be discussed tonight are for two islands, Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados. So
I'm sorry, I didn't get who is speaking now. That was Sheldon. Who is speaking now?
Chanel Alexis.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay, so Trinidad is known for its carnival and diverse lifestyle. And despite being tiny, this twin island has a lot of potential and international influence. So, a single framework was designed for the collaborative Caribbean development under the United Nations Multi-Country Sustainable Development Framework. And they came up with some goals. Next slide, please. And these goals, as you can see here, are to alleviate poverty, hunger, improve health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, etc. Next slide, please. So one of the initiatives that Trinidad.
No, let's go back to the previous slide. Okay. What is Trinidad and Tobago doing in response to climate action? What are they doing, or what you?
Okay, so the next slide that I was about going to explain that.
Oh, okay, all right, continue.
Yeah. Okay, so Trinidad and Tobago has proposed an estimated 7 million two-part green climate project, and it will address the issues of climate change through capacity building and data collection. So these initiatives, they are looking at reducing and monitoring the greenhouse gas emissions, and also to change like climate policies to meet the sustainable development goals that Trinidad and Tobago has.
Chanel?
Yes, miss.
For those persons who might not really understand what you mean by climate change, just give us a little understanding. You are one of your group members. Just give us an idea what does climate change really mean?
Okay, so climate change is how the environment responds to the different changes and stresses put on by the population of the world. So for example, I don't know if you all are aware that the ice caps are melting. So you always see documentaries where they always talking about the ice caps melting and the water levels in this ocean keep increasing by how many meters. The animals and the wildlife keep showing signs of degeneration as a result of climate change.
So what is causing these melting of ice? What did we do, or what has happened? Why the ice? Because the ice is not supposed to be melting like that.
Right, so
areas of the earth is supposed to maintain ice. Certain animals that live there depend on the ice. So tell us, what did we do? What has happened?
so I can't really explain the the science behind it, but from my basic knowledge is that the because the emissions that we release from all our manufacturing and whatnot, it expands the gap that there is in the ozone layer, and that in turn somehow increases the.
Good night, miss. I just wanted to add into what Chanel is saying, right? So
Yeah.
the climate change.
Who is this?
So this is Mekalali speaking.
Okay, good.
Okay. So what exactly one of the main drivers towards climate change is that the burning of fossil fuels, which is things like coal, oil and gas, which just produce the heat trapping gases. And that plays a big role.
Very good, very good. Go ahead, continue.
In climate change itself. Of that is things and warming oceans, which will obviously affect the rise in sea levels, and then it also affects droughts, storms, and heat waves.
Very good. Okay, so Chanel, you see, there's no science behind it. You don't have to be a science student to know. This is something you should know. All right, very good, Ali. Continue, guys.
Okay. So this revision will take a closer analysis of the National Climate Change Policy, the cost-benefit analysis of risk and adaptation measures to ensure that the national programs are funded and projects effectively respond to the adaptation and mitigation needs of Trinidad and Tobago. Next, we will be looking at the second part of the funding will be allocated to an 18-month partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization. This will focus on creating climate change resilience through the agricultural sector. So to achieve this, they'll do data collection and analysis of agriculture and associated activities such as food import dependency. Also, they will assess the impact of hydrological and meteorological data, assessment of greenhouse gas emissions, and reporting of gender-sensitive climate impacts on agriculture and food systems. Next, we will be looking at Barbados and their initiative towards sustainable development. So in Barbados, they have this program called Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation, BERT for short. The objective of the program is to restore microeconomic stability and set the economy on a path of robust, sustainable, and inclusive development while preserving the financial and social sectors. The goals of this initiative is to achieve greater equality, increase social protection access and social spending flows, improve financial innovation, regulation and inclusion, climate resilience, carbon neutral, marine conscious public and private investments to grow. In Barbados, the need for sustainable growth was influenced by the government's request to execute the BERT program in 2018. And the goal was to recover the country's current economic situation while preserving the financial and social sectors in the future. This plan includes targets such as achieving greater equality by decreasing the GDP to 0% in the fiscal year 2021-2022 in order to sustain expenditure on social safety and public health access. So now the question that remains is, are these initiatives in accordance with the Brundtland's definition of sustainable development? And I would say yes, because they are addressing the pertinent issues that will affect development and the climate and all the social issues that the countries may face. So now that we have come to almost to the end of our presentation, we will now be doing a little student engagement. Where the first question says, and please answer in the chat, what term best suits the balancing of the need to use resources and also conserve them for future use? Be sustainable, right, correct. And number 2, where was sustainable development first explained?
Okay, so that we can be more interactive, Chanel, You can choose a student to ask. We're not here to embarrass anyone if you don't get it correct. We're just wanted to be more engaging because as you realize, you're been hearing Sheldon, Chanel, and my voice. So be more engaging. You can choose a student, so we'll be more interactive. All right, Chanel, go ahead.
Okay. Amanda McForan.
Frontline reports.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much. Number 3, which definition best suits the term sustainable development? Can Rolmina Matthews answer for us, please? Romina says C. Yes, thank you so much. That's correct. And next slide, please. Okay, so what is an ecological footprint? So can Geneva Perillion answer for us, please? Geneva? Okay, so Zoya Lawrence, can you answer number 4 for us, please?
The ecological footprint is basically how much gas or how much emissions are emitted by each country or state in the atmosphere, and it can be recorded of how much each country has how would you say this, has emitted into the atmosphere, and then to try and reduce that so it is within the agreement that all these countries have come together to meet in order to have sustainable development.
Okay, thank you very much. So there we have like two possible responses. And for one second, please. Right, number 5, in 1987, who published a report entitled Our Common Future? And let me see who I can call on.
Before we move on, Chanel, the answer.
Is the answer.
Hold on. The answer to number 4, would this take into consideration agriculture, farmers and such? Will they play a major role here?
Yes, I would think so.
All right. Okay, continue.
Okay, so Tamika Daly, can you answer number 5 first, please?
That be the World Commission on Environment and Development?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so even though Chanel is calling on persons to answer, the chat is still available for persons to give their answers. All right, so even though an individual is answering, still go ahead and give your response in the chat, so we can have an understanding of how many persons know, understand information so far.
Right, so I'm seeing in the chat, Dana and Kyle said A. Yes, you're correct. Thank you so much. There are many aspects of the social system. Which 5 aspects are highlighted in this course? So I'm seeing Linnea saying gender, education, employment. Dana said poverty. Yes, you both are correct. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. Right. So number 7 says define economic stability. And
Sustainability. You said stability, Chanel, sustainability.
oh, I probably my internet was giving trouble at that time. Define economic sustainability. And Josephine Myers, can you answer for us, please?
Good evening. I am a host at this moment. I'll try to type it instead.
Okay, no problem.
You can explain it, you don't have to give it word for word.
Okay, I will try. Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So when I think of economic sustainability, I think of the measures that are in place for people to still be able to make money. So take for example, we have the tourism sector. We're building hotels. Instead of building hotels that eventually would just be closed down, we do it in such a way, maybe an eco-friendly eco-friendly hotel, and it has a way of making money and not taking so much from the country. So it has the benefit of satisfying the needs of the visitors, but the country benefits economically without destroying the environment or the future for instead of destroying the environment for the future generations. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good explanation.
Yeah, that's a very, somebody mic is open. Whose mic is open, can turn it off. Moderators, you can turn off mics, Yes, that's a very good one. Who was that?
Josephine.
Yeah, that's a very good one, because I can recall, if anyone lives in Portmore near Elsha there, I think I have the location correct. They had built this large hotel there, huge tall building and such, and they had to close it down because it affects, I think when it rains or hurricane comes about, it affects the sea level, or it's sinking. Actually sinking. So that's an environmental hazard. So it's actually sinking, so they can house tourists. There are people who want to use the resort, right? So that's a very good one. Okay.
Okay.
Eventually shut it down, and just for future plan, just to end for future sustainability. Okay, continue.
And so I said providing in goods and services that meets the need of the society. Amanda says growing the economy without negatively impacting the society. Yes. And well, the answer that we posted here, they need to strike the balance between the costs and benefits of economic activity within the confines of the carrying capacity of the environment. Number 8, what are sustainable development indicators? Can Kyle answer that first, please?
Good night. I would say sustainable indicators are things that measure social equality and economic growth, institution capacity, and those things.
Okay, thank you very much. So the answer we have here, sustainable development indicators are various statistical values that collectively measure the capacity to meet present and future needs. SDI will provide information crucial to decisions of national policy and to the general public.
Any examples? What are these indicators? Remember, just think about the word indicator. How would we know that, okay, sustainability is being maintained? What indicators will we find? Anybody can answer.
Improved air quality.
Okay, you can read what Zoya said. Okay, Zoya is saying that Miss Hotel and the land has been re-engineered, redesigned, and it's now being used as a apartment. Oh, okay, they have put it in measures to reduce sinking. Okay, thank you for that, Zoya. Any more responses? Good health, well-being, education, unemployment. Guys, you can grab the mic, you know, not because she called on a specific person. You can actually grab the mic and eradication of poverty. Okay, all right. Okay, we can continue then.
Right, so in some indicators are health, demographics, land, economic development, natural hazards. And the last question is define youth development. Anybody wants to go without me having to call? Anybody want to take a try and define youth development?
Guys, you might not have book definition, but you have an understanding of what it means. So you explain it in your own words.
Hi, good night. I'll try. Youth development entails bettering the lives of young persons holistically, also arming them with the necessary information to probably, should they be experiencing a challenge or an issue, to advocate on behalf of themselves and probably their peers and community who can possibly be experiencing the same challenge. Youth development also can entail, apart from academics, you know, you're arming young persons with vocational skills, also targeting youth who may be experiencing challenges such as mental illness, those who live in at-risk areas, those who are experiencing gender inequality. So you're basically arming them with the information to allow them to develop or advocate to better their lifestyle or well-being.
Very good. Who was that?
Dina, miss.
Who? I'm sorry, who was that?
Dina.
Oh, Dina, okay.
Dina, yeah, Johnson.
Thank you, Dina.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Right, so the answer that we had here, youth development is a process of growing up and developing one's capacities in positive ways. It is ongoing and requires the engagement of all youth. So this kind of covers everything that Dina said, but she did it so well and in detail. So thank you, and that brings us to the end of our presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. All right, okay. Any questions from the class? Any concerns, questions that you may have for group one? Thing you need for them to clarify? Nothing?
Miss, I just wanted to add that since the time of the Industrial Revolution, you've had this, I mean, since they invented all of these steam ships and all of that, you've had this mess of the environment, these factories and so on, for capitalistic gains and capitalistic greed. And you know, unfortunately, as a result of this industrial revolution, we've had the African Holocaust that accounted for millions of Africans, and it's just a mess. And then, so what I'm saying is, after these people have contributed to the destruction of the environment, they are now playing as if they are the saviors of the environment. And still, so with all of this talk and so on, they are still holding back, and they're still, you still have this withholding of financing. And I mean, even Mia Motley spoke about that and so on and so forth. So one has to really wonder if these people truly care about the environment, or they're still more concerned about their capitalistic greed.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Sheldon. Anybody else wants to share? Anybody from the outside of the group has anything to say regarding Unit 1? Anything that came out to you? Anything that pops out? There's also sending apologies for David that he's currently at work. Yeah, that's all right. Once he's able to review the recording. Remember, this is not a graded this is not graded, but I commend Group 1 for putting out all of this effort. You can see that they sat down and put it together. So remember though, when the teaching model we're trying to impose, especially when it comes to tutorial meetings, we don't want a type of lecture. We don't want students to, it was interactive, Group 1, but we wanted to move more like discussion, interactive, because your peers would like to share what they know, and they would like to share understanding. And I love when persons share, because this is where we're going. When you share more on real life situation, we might be we're talking about sustainable development among youths, and one peer might just be in a situation where they can explain this whole concept based on the work that they do or the work they used to do. So, you know, so we want it to be more interactive. I like the idea that you guys did some questions and answers. So we'll have to make it, we want to make it more interactive, not doing presentation. If you're going to start out with a presentation, make it brief, as if you're giving a summary of the unit and giving out some definitions on some areas that students, your peers should know. But then ask them questions, like you can choose one of the learning activities, or something pops out in the unit that you know would be valuable to discuss. Okay, it's around, for some reason, that particular discussion surrounds the unit topic itself. All right, there's one unit that is going to speak a lot about climate change. So I'm expecting students to be, that group to be interactive in explaining climate change, the different climate, and persons come with the knowledge of the different climate change in different countries, not just the Caribbean. Well, the Caribbean is where you would start, because that is where, this is where we are, but you will explain more on a broad basis because it's a global thing. All right, so very good, Group 1. Other groups coming, just make it more interactive. Your peers can talk more when you share more, just as how I like how Zoya was able to arm me with an update about the hotel, because I probably left Jamaica too long, so I didn't know that this has happened. So I'm really grateful for that information. So this is the kind of information we want to share. You have someone giving an example of something. This is a real life situation, something that affected me because I lived in Portmore at one point. And this hotel was, it was sinking, and that is and just like anybody who knows Port Royal, that sank? Who is to tell that it wasn't some environmental issues? So Christians will tell you it's some is because them was doing too much wickedness and all of that. So these are little things we want to share. But if we look at it as an environmental thing, it could be that the way that side of Port Royal was built, it's a dumped land, meaning that it was literally land that has been dumped with dirt and whatever to sustain the land. So when the sea is ready to take back its course, that is usually what happens. All right, so we want to talk about these things, and as such, when we give some examples, it brings out the whole, it brings out the topic more and understanding of the topic more. All right, so group one, well done, but groups coming up, just ensure we can talk about some real life situations. You research some real life situation you can discuss with your peers, what is happening in our Caribbean countries, and even the wider aspect, okay, as it pertains to youth and sustainable development, depending on the unit that you're presenting on. All right, guys, and if you don't have any more questions, we can end here. This is good. We have 4 minutes left, but we can end here.
Miss, just a quick question, Miss. Just a little outside of that, Miss. The degree from the I think that you live in the United States. The degree from the University of the West Indies, to what extent or how well received it is over there? Let's say you go to an institution of the United States and you present your degree from the University of the West Indies. How received is it?
Okay, I probably one of can explain it. I had a student last year, I don't remember. I know she would do well in explaining it, but a little
Miss, I can explain it.
let me, who's this?
This is Zoya, Miss.
Oh, Zoya. Was it you, Zoya, last year?
Yes, Miss.
You see that I'm really relating to you guys. All right, but let me tell you the little I know, and then Zoya will go ahead. So this is what I like. We're talking about some real life examples. So what I understand is that they will get the different courses that you do and all of that, and they will look at it. I don't know if there's the academic board or what, but a group of them will come together and put credits to it. So if they feel that you don't have enough credits on certain courses or the course of study that you want to do with this foreign country, they will admit you to do something that will give you extra credit. So you will have to probably do some pre-courses before they actually accept you in their program or something to that effect. That's my small understanding so far. But Zoe, you can go ahead.
Okay, so there is the governing body that does the certifications for persons who live outside the United States of America is called CGNFS. They will have you basically upload all your information. You'd have to have your university send a copy of your transcript. They will evaluate the degree based on what is accredited in the area that you're planning to live in. And then based on, I think, the top 10 universities and what the course criteria were, if they are met, you would be able to, let's say for social work, I know that I would not have to do anything other than a licensure exam, because the degree spectrum for social work with a minor in youth development has met all the requirements to be a social worker in the US, but in order to practice as a social worker, you have to be licensed. So you would have to go into whichever state and do their licensing exam. The state of Texas has a licensing exam that you have to do, but it also involves some clinical. So because it involves a clinical aspect, you would require clinical experience, which you can basically go to any clinical area like a hospital, mental unit, speak with one of their HR department, let them know that you're looking for some experience so that you can go sit your licensure exam. Then based on that now, once you've gotten your experience, they'll go ahead and they'll approve your status, and then you'll be able to go ahead and do your exam. And pay the exam. Once you pass it, you go for it. Now, for social work, you have 3 tries in which you are able to attempt the exam. If you're unsuccessful for the exam, in the state of Texas, you have to go back and do a remedial year course in order to become a light and resit the exam in order to be able to practice here. Now, in the state of Georgia, where I lived prior, they did not require all of this. The only thing they required was that the CGNF certified that your degree met the criteria, and that was that you didn't need a license to practice in Georgia.
Nice, quite interesting. So then something, I would assume that something like youth work might be a little bit simpler.
It's the same process, because even for nursing, my mom is a nurse, and they just evaluated her degree, and based on the requirement from the university, which my mom is a UWI grad, they went and they reviewed against their universities, and her degree was approved. She was able to come and do her licensure exam, and she passed her exam, and then she was able to practice and get employed. And depending on the state that you go to, like the state of Texas is considered what's called a compact state. So you can basically work in any other state in the United States once you are licensed through a compact state, as long as that state is a part of the compact agreement.
Thank you very much.
You are so welcome.
Okay, very good. Yeah. In the States here, they have a lot of dealings where you have to be licensed. You have to do some licensing. Yes, because my mom was a home health aide, and she had to be licensed every 2 years. I believe she has to get her license redone and such. So it's not that when you do, not because the Caribbean is seen as a third world community. Your degrees are very much good over here, but they have additional expectations. As Zoya said, they will review, there's a reviewing board, and they will tell you, okay, your award is worth 90% where they are concerned, and they're asking you to do the 10%. Will be licensing yourself or doing some pre-courses from there. Okay, all right. Any more questions, and then we can go? No more? All right, so I guess that's it for tonight. Thank you, Group 1. Group 2 will present next week. Not next week, sorry, October 13th, I believe. I'm not looking at the calendar right now. Oh yes, I'm looking at the calendar. October 13th, okay, and you'll be presenting on Unit 2 and 3. So remember, you're gonna have to use, I like the icebreaker that Group 1 did. You're gonna have to use things like that to get your peers involved and get their attention, because when persons listen too long, the attention span might go off, or you know what I mean. All right, so good night, guys, and thank you very much for coming. And I'm sure Group 1 is grateful that you participated and was interactive, and we're interacting.